What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over when you guys should be killing your products and when you should scale your products. Make sure you guys stay tuned till the end of the video because I'll be sharing with you a pretty awesome tip that I didn't really know about with Facebook ads until about a year ago or so. And it has really improved my ability to scale and my ability to find very profitable audiences. Now, there are a handful of things that you guys need to consider when it comes to these scenarios and the data that you need to understand before you guys even think about doing these things. So let's get right into it. So first off, what usually happens is you'll find yourself spending more than you should. What I notice people do is they'll get a couple sales here and there and then they'll be unprofitable, but they'll keep running the ads for whatever reason. But the main reason that people do this is because they don't know what data to look for when making a educated decision. The best way to avoid even shutting down your store is to have a good start, a good running start. And the best way to do this is by having a good product choice and have great branding. What I see people do is they'll go for super competitive products that millions of other people are selling out there and simply have put millions of dollars into, so they already have a place on the platform, especially with people trying to sell makeup or clothing. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do well with these products, but as a beginner with someone with a limited budget, these are definitely products that you guys want to stay away from. And then other scenarios are people, they'll try and sell things that don't really have any data to back them. They don't do any product research. Every product that you guys get into, it needs to have demand, it needs to have a wide market and a wow factor. So the data that you guys need to keep in mind as well is understanding your break-even ROAS. So this way you're going to be able to determine whether or not to kill your ad sets or your campaign. So the best way that you guys do this is by determining your break-even return on ad spend, which is the product price over your product price minus the cost of goods. So anything below this is going to be unprofitable and anything above this is going to be profitable. So the next thing that you guys need to ask yourself is, are you letting it run? There's a lot of people out there that'll only let their ads run maybe 1 or 2 days and then make a decision. You need to only make decisions anywhere from 3 to 4 days of testing, and you should be at least getting around 1 sale. And then you need to also check for add to carts, which is also a good sign that your Facebook pixel is getting data. Another issue that I think people probably do is they only check the day-to-day data. They don't check the lifetime data of the whole time they've been running these ads. So you don't need to be checking day-to-day. You need to be looking at the average overall profitability of your campaign, and you'll be able to see if the ROAS is going up or not. So obviously if your ROAS is rising, then you're going to be profitable and that's a good sign, then you can scale. And then obviously if it's getting lower and lower and lower, that might be a sign to kill the product. So now, since we know the different scenarios and data that you guys need to understand, when you're determining to kill the product, what you guys need to do is wait for a 5-day minimum period, and then you can make a decision. So after 1 to 3 days, if you see a handful of add to cart, then you can let it run for at least another 2 days. So if by day 5 you don't have at least 1 sale, barely any add to cart, and a decreasing ROAS, which you guys can look at day to day after the 5 days. And if your ROAS is decreasing, dropping below your break-even ROAS, then just kill the product. But there is another scenario that you guys need to keep in mind as well, and that is the ad structure and how you're running your campaign. So it is possible to have a good product that is a winning product, but have a bad funnel. So you need to ask yourself, who are you targeting? Are you targeting people that are not even related to the product? So let's say your product is a makeup brush. Are you targeting people you need to be targeting people that are interested in makeup or women's supplies rather than, randomly targeting beard oil or lamp. And then also you have to ask yourself how your creatives are. Are your creatives bad? Do you have a good hook? Do you have a good 3 seconds that catch people's attention? What I think people do is they'll try and laser target or target better than Facebook. What Facebook likes to do is to target broad and look for an audience for you. So the more people that you give to Facebook, they're just giving them more data and people to work with. So that way they're going to be able to find you customers. I think what some people do is they'll have a one like a large CBO campaign, and then they'll just have one ad set and then target all these different interests in it. You're not letting Facebook give you the data in order to tell you what audiences are good and what audiences are not good. So the best way that you guys can do this by setting up the CBO campaign, you guys need to be using a $50 to $100 a day budget, and then have 5 ad sets, each one with different interests in them. So let's say your product is a makeup brush. Obviously, I wouldn't do something like that, but you would have makeup, you would target, I don't know, women's supplies, just anything around that product that you would think that, you know, people would be interested in. And then the 3 ad creatives. So every time that you test any product, you guys need to have 3 different ad creatives. And the only thing that you guys need to change for these different creatives is the first 3 seconds or the hook or the scroll stop or whatever you want to call it. And that's just the attention grabber when someone sees your ad. So you want to have 3 of those and then have those in each ad set. So 3 ad creatives per ad set. And then from there, you can sort of test the correct way. Now, let's say that you guys are just completely breaking even, making all your money back, and you don't really know why. If you're at this point, then that is a good sign. So breaking even is not bad at all. That means your pixel's gathering data and you're just reinvesting everything that you make back in. So the great side about that is that you're just gathering data for free. So what I would do if you're breaking even after these 5 days, continue running the ad for at least another 3 to 4 days or so, and then see where the ad goes from there. Like I mentioned before, drops below your break-even ROAS, and just cut it off. And then if it goes above it, then obviously you could go into the scaling phase. And then one other thing I forgot to mention is when you're choosing what interest that you want to have for your product, I would choose anywhere from 3 million and up for the audience. And that's because if you try to laser target or anything under, you know, 1 million or so, Facebook isn't really going to have enough audience to work with to find new customers. So really for the scaling phase, it's pretty simple and it's not very complicated at all. I say it's probably one of the easiest concepts to understand. And obviously, if you have a very profitable interest and one that is very profitable and keeps dropping below your break-even ROAS and you're losing money on it, obviously you can cut off that specific ad set. Now, if you find a ad set or interest that is doing very well within those 5 days or so, you see it's going above your break-even ROAS and you're very profitable with it, then what you guys can do is take that interest and put it into another campaign or CBO campaign, duplicate it, and then up the budget to around $150 to $200. Another thing about scaling that I wanted to mention as well, and if you guys watch Gabriel St-Germain, he actually gave this tool to a lot of people, so I will leave it down in the description. So whenever you're thinking to scale, what you can do here is enter in your profit target. So generally you want to shoot for anywhere from 15 to 25% margins. So when you're about to scale something, you want to look at your profit target KPIs, mainly your cost per purchase and the return on ad spend. So if you have a profit target for the ad spend or for the ROAS at 1.68, then you definitely want to start scaling anything at this or above it. Now, if you have something that's below 10% or even 5% margins, I wouldn't really scale it just yet. You definitely want to wait it out after the 5 days to see where it goes. And then you just use that same concept to scale or kill ad sets in the future within that scaling campaign. Now, what I'd like to do specifically, and this works for me, this might not work for you, is I'll actually keep that interest or that winning interest in the testing campaign and simply just raise the budget. But that's mainly for me because I think it just messes with the optimization if you just duplicate it into another campaign. But you guys just have to test it out for yourselves. And really, when you're scaling, you just don't want to go overboard. Scale anywhere from 20 to 30% a day. If you try to duplicate the budget too much or just completely just skyrocket your budget, you're going to destroy the optimization with Facebook, and they're not going to be and the pixel is going to be kind of screwed up. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you could sort of think of this as like a pool of water, and when you throw something in it and you just throw a random object in it, obviously it's going to ripple and it's going to be a whole commotion. So that's kind of how the Facebook audience pools work. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Just be patient with your ads. So the tip that I wanted to share with you guys is when you're doing your targeting and your interest targeting, you can actually target things that have nothing to do with your product but are very broad. So an example would be like Netflix, shopping malls, online shopping, Amazon.com. And these interests have an insane amount of people in them. And because of this, Facebook is going to be able to go into these niches of people and sort of extract customers for you. And there's a lot of different profitable people in these niches. And I think it's mainly because of the massive size of these audiences. So I definitely think that you guys should be testing these interests from the start. And the great thing about them is later down the road, they don't get fatigued as much. So you're going to be able to run ads within these interests for a very, very long time without you getting ad or audience fatigue. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's basically when an audience is all used up and they've seen your creative a billion times already and they just don't want to watch it anymore, so you lose money in that audience. And eventually you'll get to a point where your pixel will have enough completely scale to the moon and not have to worry about audience fatigue or ad fatigue, because these audiences just have millions upon millions of people. And I think you guys will do very well. Another cool concept about scaling is that not only can you scale interest, but you can also scale lookalike audiences, where you find a big group of people. Let's say you just gather the people that watch 95% of your creative. So you can take those people, put them in a specific custom audience, and then create a lookalike audience on Facebook of people that would most likely be related to the same interests as the people that watch 95% of your video. And you can do this for a variety of lookalike audiences like page views, Facebook engagement, but you really have to test all these, and you can sort of scale all these different things and sort of kill or scale these ad sets the same way that you do interest. Normally lookalike audiences are supposed to perform better than these broad audiences or interests, but for me personally, I've done way better with broad audiences. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and sort of understand the things that you guys want to look out for when you're deciding on whether or not to kill or scale a product. Sorry if I couldn't really get into my Facebook ads manager and show you guys exactly what I'm doing. I'm actually going through a Facebook ads ban, so I'm supposed to be getting my account back here very soon. So expect some videos on some ads manager tutorials. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.